Possible. Like somebody here or like, you know what I mean, and then repaired and repaired and repaired, but not to national preservation standards.
And the winters here are wicked.
We did the best we could.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can say the names of people who I know over the last 20 years have tried to keep that building standing, but they didn't, you know, they didn't take on the whole thing. So people understood, okay, so it's not like any one person made a mistake or anything like that, but it was just like, you know, building standards at times for, you know,
Yeah.
in an island, but anyway, I know people, people understood the seriousness of that.
And I think
Mary
sometimes-
Ellen, was it recorded? Was the talk recorded?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
I'll watch it then. I'm sorry I wasn't able to attend.
So wait a little while because it takes a little while for Patrick to load things up and get them
Yeah.
online.
No problem.
I know,
No
yeah.
problem.
hello,
We're chatting out there.
I know, we've been waiting for you.
Make plans for the season with America?
You have to watch Jim, he makes everybody late.
Talk with Jimmy Cromwell?
Yeah.
Well, I've never known him to talk that long.
All right, well, it is 6 o'clock, so we're gonna go ahead and start our meeting today. It is August 24th. We are recording. I want to start with warrant items, and I'd like to make a motion that we accept payroll number 13 for $2,213.53. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 14 for $144,068.83. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the reason that is so high is that's our monthly RSU bill. And also then some road work. If you've noticed, we've been doing some beautiful road work, especially on Baker Road there. I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 15 for $319.58. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 16 for $26,140.88. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And half of that is the volunteer fire department and some of the things that they needed. And lastly, I'd like to move that we accept payroll number 17 for $2,805.07. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I'd like to move that we accept the minutes from August 10th, 2026 select board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And so. All right, citizens issues. And we have, no, citizens issue.
Question on, I've had a long conversation with Ms. Bartlett on the cemetery committee.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering where the $40,000 donation that Jay Schweppe made, which was for the Schweppe Jewett Cemetery. And I don't see it listed in any of the town reports. So where is the money? Because no work has been done on that cemetery for a good 7 years.
Yeah.
The grass is about a foot and a half tall, falling down, the fence is falling down. And it's a good thing when people donate a large thing for cemetery funds.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, it should be listed in your town report. So if you have put the money someplace in a money market account, how much interest has been accrued? Because none of that money has been spent on that cemetery.
The town did not vote on that yet, so it is still with the lawyer. There were some issues between the lawyer and the person who would know more about that, because she's been working on it for a year and a half, is April. Will be here tomorrow morning and you could talk to her. But my understanding is that there were some issues trying to figure out exactly how the money would be spent, and does the land go as well to the town? And I think they were still figuring out those issues. So,
The
but
land is owned by individuals. And the access to the cemetery is there.
So it would be, and maybe the lawyer doesn't know that, but I know it's been in
What
the,
line
with
was
the,
it with?
I'm not sure whoever was the one who had offered it, the $40,000.
That was
I know-
Jay Schweppe.
Okay,
It's his ancestor cemetery.
so all I know is right now it is still in the lawyer's hands. The town itself has to approve the money, accept the money.
Except.
Where is the money right now?
It's nowhere, or it's still in the lawyer's office. The town
I
has
don't
not
have
received
this
it.
in your.
No, we
So
have
the-
not received the money yet.
The town has not voted to accept the funds. yet.
Right. So it's still, so I don't know where the $40,000 is, but it's not with the town. The town has not voted to accept that money.
If an individual makes a donation for a cemetery maintenance fund, the town doesn't accept it?
The town has to,
Depends what the conditions are, and that's where some of this is being held up. If you wanna donate money to the town and say you have to do exactly this with it, then it's our responsibility to make sure that we can do exactly what you're asking, which
Well,
is where this is.
Which would mean upkeep.
But is
Yeah,
it
sure.
limited to anything? Are there conditions with it? So that's where it's at.
One of the questions I think surrounding that was the access to the cemetery. That was just part of what I had understood to be with April, that there was questions about the access, the right of way to get there.
Yeah, there were some issues around it and the lawyer was still working through that and we just, as a town, wanted to make sure this is what we can do with this money, what we cannot do with this money. And
How long has the attorney had the money?
I have no idea.
April.
It's probably been at least a year, maybe longer than that. Yeah,
Donna, can I say something?
sure. Cause you're on
Yeah,
the cemetery.
Cemetery committee, yes. Last May, mid-May, I was there at the cemetery and we did put flags at the veterans gravestones. So I've been there recently. We took some at the time. We didn't do a lot of work. We took some of the limbs that had fallen over and took them out of the cemetery and cleaned up some of the it wasn't much trash, but some of the stuff that was there. But yes, you're right. It is overgrown.
It's overgrown and really needs assistance. It's in deplorable state, in my opinion. And I've sent pictures of it to Jay Schweppe.
Well,
So April will be here tomorrow.
April will be here tomorrow and she will be able to fill you in. All I know is right now the town does not have the money. Because if the town did have the money, it would go in a special account and anybody could access that. Anybody could see where it is.
So when you receive the money, you'll list it in your town report as the Schweppe
Yeah,
Jewett.
the first thing that'll happen is got to be approved by the town. The town approves it and then we would say in the warrant article, it will be in blah, blah, blah. We do have another, I know there's another, donation that was made. And so it's like the cemetery committee has some funds and then there's a special fund, that was donated and it's only donated, I think the only
Stacy.
thing they can do is flags or.
Mary Stacy donated 6,000.
Yeah, and so it's set aside only for flags.
Right, and I know they put flags in there for the past couple of years,
Yeah.
but I go down there every year.
Yeah, so it depends, as Kim said, when somebody donates something, if they have special stipulations on there, then we need to make sure, and I know there has been back and forth with April, trying to figure out exactly. We had conversations last year and whatever happened and they still hadn't figured it out. So the town does not have the money. It would go in a special account.
So
Once
do
the
you
town
have to
approves it.
put that on a warrant for the next town meeting, or do you accept it like things you just did tonight? When you accept the 26,144.18, and you do that for the cemetery fund?
No, we paid out 26,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we take donations as a town. It does go to the town for approval.
Okay. So.
I can also talk to the cemetery committee, the others on the cemetery committee and see if we can clean the cemetery regardless of having the 40,000 or not. Just prioritize it.
That's appropriate.
That would
Yeah,
be
we
greatly
appreciate that.
appreciated.
Got the trees growing up in it, I mean,
Yeah, the ferns are all in it and everything, and a lot of the foundations, but
trees growing up in it.
No.
Nowhere.
no, just ferns and grass clutches were tall, laid down. And the main hay, my father used to be the caretaker of the cemetery and I worked on it for 20 years with it. So I know what word goes.
Yeah, and I know they're like,
Pointed.
yeah, 72, is it 72 cemeteries, Sherry?
Yes,
72 cemeteries, and I know, in fact, all those boxes are things, that they've spent to clean, and what they've done is chosen a few cemeteries per year to clean up.
4 per year, and we've been doing that. And a lot of them are along the main road so that they're
Right.
visible, and a lot of them that have veterans in them. And the Schweppe, the Jewett Schweppe would definitely be, even though it's not visible from the road, it has veterans, so it would be a priority.
So Sherry can,
I'll talk to, we have a meeting coming up, and I can also send an email to the committee.
but I would suggest you talk to,
April.
April tomorrow, because I know she's got the information on it. She has been, I love it.
It's coming into the station.
And, I'll try to remember to also give her a heads up so that she has the information for you, but I do know, I know there is this, the Schweppe, offer to donation, but whatever legal issues there were, you know, it was last year or the year before. Yeah, that we also got a donation from somebody else who had passed away, but it was really specific about this is what you can do with it. And once that's okay, then, you know, we're good with it. But if there are certain stipulations, then, right now it's with a lawyer and trying to work that out.
And there's also, I don't know if you folks have tried this or the cemetery committee, and Bailey and I talked about that, but it's gone for grants, because there's all kinds of grants out there that you can obtain for historical cemeteries that are here. You've got a lot of historical graves here
Mhm.
from days gone by.
Yeah, Mary Ellen is
I know.
cringing because she's worked on a lot of, grants, and we have been working on grants. Last year, I think at the end of last year, I looked, we had 15 grants that we'd applied for. And, we
I don't
haven't,
know that we've done any cemetery grants though.
no.
If you have knowledge of those, you could pass those on. That's a really big first step for us. Like, we're pretty good at taking it and running with it, but going out and finding them is not our height.
That's what those things do for you.
Yeah.
So in the committee, the grants already.
I don't know, Sherry, have
I-
you all looked at grants? The question was, there are cemetery grants out there, and has the cemetery committee looked at them?
I'm not aware that they have or not. I haven't been able to make all of the meetings, but I will ask the committee to see if anybody else has gone after grants. And if not, would they be willing to do so?
Great,
I know.
thank you.
I don't get them to, so we can.
If-
do very much.
Yeah,
If you have any knowledge of some of the cemetery grants, that would, as Kim said, that would be a great first step. So that that takes a little bit of time of research out of our hands.
yeah, so be,
You could send that to
Yeah.
info@westportisland.gov,
yeah,
and that comes to
all three of us.
all of
All
us.
three of us.
And April and Ashley
Yeah.
and Dee Dee as well. So,
That'd be great.
yeah. Anything else? No, okay.
Lower the taxes.
What don't you want?
What don't I want?
Yep.
I want it to go back to island life. What it used to be. In order for you folks to get rid of your deer problem,
Yeah.
let people hunt on your land.
Mhm.
You know, give them permission to hunt. I mean, I know you want your flowers and you want your gardens, but in the day, we lived off the land here. The food, the deer. We ate it all. My father was a commercial fisherman. But in order, a lot of people moving in knew this is island life, or it used to be island life. The older people, there aren't that many left on the island, it's all new people. And the people that are moving in have come from places where they've had all the amenities, but this is island. We don't have sidewalks, we don't have garbage pickup, we don't need all that. There's a dump, in my opinion,
I agree.
that's what it's for. You know, that's an added thing to the taxation of everything. And the oceanfront property is all being accumulated, which is driving the taxes up, in my opinion.
Um. I want to address the deer issue because that is actually something, we have a deer committee now specifically to look at that. And I know one of the things that, they're working to do is how do we educate people to know that, you know, it is okay to hunt on your land, but with, you know, there are certain things that a resident can do to feel more comfortable about somebody coming on to
And
their.
I understand that, and you
So
know,
we're working on that.
people coming in, to hunt, they know where the houses are. Of course, the housing, when I was here, there was like 50 people in the winter, maybe 120 in the summer. Look what you have now, almost 700.
Yeah, over
Okay,
700.
so you've got houses, I mean, you've taken up land that we used to hunt on, so to speak. And, but people can, they should have respect for people's property,
Mhm.
and you can also not use a rifle, you can use,
The crossbow, yep. Yep.
yeah, and. I
And,
listened-
and
Go ahead.
excuse me, bow hunting time will be enlarged this year.
Yeah, we're already, that is one thing that we are able to do right now.
I watched your Zoom when you had the gentleman here talking about the deer population,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I was going, well, did you have to pay him to come, or did he come?
No,
up free?
it's, all that is free, yep.
Open your land up, allow people to hunt, they'll take care of it. I know two people that came and they took 20 deer off this island, and I know you're only allowed one a season. So, you know,
I
but if
know,
you want the population depleted, you've got to eliminate it,
I know.
and people eat it, and there's people starving today. There's food banks, you can take the deer too,
Yep,
in my opinion.
Rob Brinley called my grandfather up and says, I want you to come down here, Herb. He says, these boys of mine took them downstairs with 52 deer hanging down.
Wow.
Take some of these deer home, you boys, before they spoil. He says, I told them, deal with these deer before they shoot more, but they won't stop shooting deer. That's one season off Westport Island. And nobody hunts no more.
Where are those guys now?
My,
They got that.
my father was, and I don't mean to take up your time, but I'll tell you a story about my dad. He only had one arm, he shot his left arm off when he was 12, and he was a commercial fisherman. But the Warden Feeney, I'm sure you remember, he was trying to catch my father because he lived off the land, Bob Green. He had a lot of kids to feed, they had a lot of deer they had to hang up to, they didn't have any money. So Feeney came to try to catch my dad by boat. And he fell overboard in the middle of January,
ooh,
20 below zero.
wow.
He luckily crawled up to the house and knocked on the door. My father went to the door and he said, what is wrong? Anyway, he said, Dewey, I'm freezing, I'm gonna die. Well, he walked in and he stepped over 4 deer. And he walked in through the L. My dad took him in and he took his clothes off, hung him up over the stove, fed him, gave him a shot of something to make him warm.
Mm-hmm.
He fed it and he got it dry and he walked back out over the deer and he left and said, thank you, Dewey.
Yeah, those were the days, right?
There's stories all kinds.
Yeah.
They're gonna be told.
Yeah,
Hit 5 up there this morning, 2
Skippers.
skitters and 3 big ones, every morning, every night. And that's just sitting there. I talk to them, they don't run off.
no, no.
I never been, and then the turkeys, yesterday was turkeys. All tick carrier. All of them.
Yeah, one, it's a huge issue and it's becoming a huge issue nationally because of the tick population and deer are the ones who are carrying it. So we have put together a committee and we are, trying to deal with that. In fact, we've extended it a year because there's so much work to be done. So,
Well,
but
plus the fact that the state of Maine would allow you to have more than one deer a season.
Well, Jay Snapper kind of came. Guy here from the state. One of the states of, the guy from the state says, well, we recognize this is a problem up and down the main coast, adding the flavor. So we go, what have you done? Well, nobody's asked. You know. This is what we deal with, this is what we pay for.
You have to stay on.
Well, that's what he said, you know, this expanded season's gonna help, but how much? Cause expanded is gonna expand the whole coast, the Route 1. You know, it might help a little bit, it's not gonna solve the problem.
Mary Ellen, did you have anything for citizens issue? You're just here.
People here working hard.
Thank you, thank you. Kenneth, did you want to address just because of all the Facebook things or not?
Yeah, well, we want to talk about a little bit of the bantering that's been going on Facebook, which is not an official town view of anything, by the way. But I want to bring everybody up to speed. We recently asked the folks down at the Tar Box Farm and Sasanoa Brewing to come in and bring into the planning board, a revised site plan review. And part of the reason for that was that what we've had on record and what we have on file for them was some of their original stuff, that they wanted to have a vegetable farm and sell at farmers markets. And then they added a brewery making beer to sell at farmers markets. And here we are 10 years later, and we've got an open business with a restaurant license, a farmers market that is very active. A lot of traffic goes in and out of there on particular days. I understand they're not open every day, but when they are, it's a busy place. Much different than what was originally proposed and approved and made allowances for. So that is one thing that people are kind of set back about, is that we're asking them to come in and update it. That's been in the ordinances for Westport for as long as we've had ordinances. You have a site plan review, you have a business. When you change the business, you come back, right? So we're not asking for something new or pie in the sky. That's standard fare anywhere you go. We also have another business that's been operating on the island without any permits or licenses or site plan review. And it is also a coastal property bringing people in, and they're serving meals and they're having lodging opportunities. And there's been nothing in terms of business plans. There, we don't have a situation there where we have our safety people, our fire department and ambulance people knowing that the activities are going on. Well, that's not really a good scene, because people, particularly at wedding venues, believe it or not, people have medical emergencies at weddings. Grandpa Joe gets into the hooch and all of a sudden he's on the ground and people are calling for an ambulance. If we have no knowledge of a venue being operated like that, then we're way behind the 8 ball. So we're asking a second place that has already been in operation without any permits to come in, do a site plan review. Let's just make sure that everybody knows what's going on so that we can be prepared and we can help people if that public safety issue comes in. The Facebook folks are just bantering that we should shut up, we should mind our own business, we should let these people flourish in their businesses, and that any business on Westport is good, and we're stepping out of our bounds. And I just want to say, no, we're not. We're doing our job. And part of our job is to uphold the ordinances that are already in place, but then also think a little bit more futuristically. Right? And it is not a personal attack on either the Tar Box Farm or the Sasanoa Brewing people or the other wedding venue and dinner venue people. It's nothing personal. I look at it and say, if we bring these folks into compliance with the ordinances that already exist, then as we go into the future, and we have right now 26 properties for sale, as you said, who's buying the properties, right? We don't have Westporters buying all these new properties that are up for sale. We're gonna have an influx of people. We're gonna have people that wanna come up and do even more business stuff, different businesses. And if we haven't ever taken care of enforcing or acting on or permitting the businesses that we already have, we are going to have no say at all in what comes in. So how does that affect us? Well, personally, I'm just going to say, if I have somebody that buys the property next to me and they decide they want to come in and bring a sawmill, we have nothing that says they can't do that. How about if somebody comes in, they want to make a kennel? They're going to do dog sitting. They're going to have 50 dogs a night. Do I want that next door to me? I do not. Do we have anything that's gonna prevent that? We do not. We have nothing. So, you know, this is not against or asking these people to come in and update their site plans. It's not about them. It's about the future of Westport. You just said it. We want a quiet island. That's what we want. I think everybody agrees. That's what the comprehensive plan said. Everybody wants it to stay as it is. Those days are over. It's not gonna stay as it is if we don't actively do something to make it stay like it is. And in a lot of cases, having solid ordinances and good enforcement is the step to make sure that it stays what it is. Because right now, we don't have any control.
Sherry, you were gonna add something? Sherry?
Oh, no, I was just, I agree with, Kim, and I think we have to really, reiterate that we're not against the current businesses. The Tarbox Farm or the other one that's just begun. But, until we, get them into compliance, then we have really nothing to fall back on, for any future businesses that want to come in. And with so many properties for sale, we don't know what's going to happen. And we do need to work on, not enforcement, but just updating, the current businesses.
Yep. And again, these are ordinances that are already in place. It's not, I know on Facebook, they were talking about we were creating these ordinances or whatever. No. These are already in place and we're just, yeah.
So I can't say anything because I'm on the planning board. I do know these two situations are gonna come to us. So we're kind of busy with a few other decisions that we have to make, but, I understand that there's a lot of concern about it, but we'll deal with it in the context of the current site plan review regulations that we have.
Exactly. And there are regulations that are already in place and have been in
Yes,
place.
that's right, that's right.
Yep.
We've been working on it with multiple businesses over the last several years, so.
Yep.
One of the things I've noticed about some businesses is the amount of traffic they put on town roads. Is that even mentioned in any of these, site plan reviews or permits or anything?
It is in the site.
Yeah.
One of the things that, it was mentioned on Facebook that, that I have state and federal regulations. And that like the restaurants and those kind of things are state and federal regulations. But we, as a town and the planning board are in charge and the CEO are in charge of making sure that land use is appropriate. So if you have, something that's happening, that is what they would check, is they would check, can I bring, is there a ton of traffic down here? Are you right at the water's edge and doing things you shouldn't have? Are you now opening up your house to 20 people every night and your septic system is designed for 3 bedrooms? Those are the kind of things that as a town, we're responsible for. State and federal have other regulations, but there are especially land use ordinances that really dictate, and it's to protect the land. That's the whole purpose, and people, so that if you're not protecting it and, there's traffic coming and going, or they're using the septic system and it's overflowing and it's going into the neighbors, or it's going down the river. We don't know those things, and that's why you have site plan reviews, especially if you're planning to have a lot of people. That's to protect the town, to protect
And the
people
water.
in town
And
and
the
the
water.
water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big thing for restaurants is septic facilities.
Mhm.
You have to have public bathrooms for
Yep.
a restaurant,
Yep.
and septic is always the quench. Think of how many systems out there, 5, 6.
And to your point for the road, I like the sawmill one in my brain because I've lived near sawmills before, and you know what they bring and what they send out? Big, heavy trucks, right? We have big loaded logging trucks delivering logs to sawmills. Even if you're a small one-guy operation, you're having big, heavy trucks on your road bringing materials in. Then what do they do after they saw them up? big heavy trucks, carry it back out, right? And people might think, yeah, but we're Westport Island, why would anybody come here? Guess what?
Because of the sawmill.
They will come here, all right? And I could buy the 29 acres that's for sale right over here right now, and I could put a sawmill up there, and nobody would have a thing to say about it. And so, yes, we need to think about that, but, you know, what's that effect gonna be on our road? What's it gonna affect on our traffic? It's like, we need to pay attention because it's coming. You know, like,
One big truck is far better than what I see a couple weekends ago. With the amount of traffic and the speed they were going, I'd rather have one heavy truck.
Out the roads from the West Shore, the Upper West Shore, down to the Lower West Shore, is there any funds in the budget to fix those roads?
Perfect segue to our next step, which is the road commissioner report. So,
Lower West Shore Road,
Oh, the Upper West Shore
up west, that's what we're doing. That's what we're gonna start this fall.
this fall.
We're gonna do the culverts in the ditch in this fall and bank it next spring.
so you'll have a nice ride.
It's always been that way.
What was that, Laura?
Oh, is it paving West Shore Road?
It always.
No.
thought West Shore Road.
between the West Shores,
The main,
on the main road.
Yeah.
That's all right, good, I'm trying to make the middle good.
I can remember what in.
There's
And-
paying to.
in fact, Jim would be a great one to explain why some roads are paved and like, why aren't you paving West Shore Road?
When it comes to the big picture, a paved road, it will save you gobs of money, that's all there is to it. And you'll have a decent road the whole time. Dirt roads are very expensive to maintain. Westport never spent a lot of money on the roads. It will go past bus trails. Improved upon, as I'm sure my grandfather said, when the spring of the year, you didn't turn left when you come up Ferry Road because it was mud run. And you probably remember the days too.
The roads.
Right. The hills are paved because A, winter maintenance, and B, this time of the year, they'd be all washboard because it's so dry. So then you need to grade them, or you might be going to grading. But when I created me and the road committee created the long-term paving program, I had to put my hand on a stack of books. I don't know exactly what kind of books they was, and I swear that I would not pave anything new. So I live up to that because people are under the impression that the only way you can have your quaint little country road is if it's dirt and a car goes by, you can't breathe or see for 5 minutes. That's a country road. And if you don't get stuck in the spring, that ain't a country road.
I've done that.
You know,
I've done that.
you know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
You think West Shore Road's a country road?
I'm guessing you two, when you were growing up though, you didn't have big pickup trucks with four-wheel drive and knobby tires all the time, right?
Yeah,
You were,
in pickup trucks, but I got a state trooper out of the ditch when I was 8. I was sitting on Sears Roebuck catalog driving.
so it cracks me up, but people now wanna complain about the roads.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have vehicles that'll go through just about everything, so what are they complaining about?
I am, I'll say on the younger side of the crew that's here tonight,
Okay.
somewhere in the middle maybe,
Ben,
North End Road. Fowles Point Road, Bay Shore Road, Saltwell Road, Harriman Point Road, Back Door Road. Most of West Shore Road, you just did not travel. Kenny Stiles used to park out by my uncle's house and walk home in the spring of the year because that's the only way he's gonna get home. Now, Post Office Road is the most heavily traveled dirt road on the island.
yes, it is.
You know, you spend. Well, we spent a lot of money on it this year and it still needs to be ditched.
We could buy everybody hovercrafts for less money than we spend on fixing the roads.
Everything.
Done.
They're done, so.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well,
I don't think of.
what's
Yeah,
up?
I got it.
Berlin there with.
My airline thing.
I you know, I did say, how can I even think about paving anything new when we're in shambles? But we're getting there. This summer I feel a lot better than I did this time last year.
Good.
As far as gaining ground. And eventually, I'm hoping to get to the point where our road's better than what the state feeds us, which we're almost there. But it's all about money, it's all about maintenance, it's all about how people treat the road, it's their money. And what I see a couple weekends ago on West Shore Road, hence my question earlier, is that's your money. What you see going up in a cloud of dust, that's your money being carried off in the woods. And that's real stuff. I took a DOT, info last thing. And secondary, which West Shore Road would not be considered a secondary dirt road. I'm talking like Shirley Mill Road or something like that gets water traffic. 2 inches a year, gravel moves, plowing, grading it down.
Wow.
So,
At, you know, $35, $36 a yard. Not just in a pile. That's what's going away in the dust.
and every year it gets more expensive to get that.
That's the one.
All right, anything else?
And we replaced the culverts on that.
That's nice. That's nice.
Good. I got a good little pruning left, some tree branches got broke.
There's the little bit. Yeah, we'll just drive around a little.
But yeah, pretty good shape. Baker's Road's in good shape.
Yes, there was an issue that somebody was putting oil on the road to keep the dust down.
That's a pretty old school way of doing it, I thought.
We did try to confront that. And unless we see the person doing it, there's nothing that we can do other than to say that it is.
Aim for
As long as the cameras stay up there.
final. Back in Calton, flex Calton.
That's what I said, why don't you just go buy some calcium chloride and stop pouring that oil? And the response we got was, well, I hope you catch them.
Yeah, so, but hopefully you've made an individual aware and hopefully now they'll not do it anymore.
Synthetic oil.
It's organic.
All right,
I will tell you that we traveled all of Baker Road and it's a very nice job.
oh yeah.
The work that was done looks good. It's clearly well done. I
Yep.
think that should last a long time. The ditching is great. The riprap is great.
That's I consider it a pretty environmentally sensitive area, that hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice job.
So the raw, you can throw mulch up on the bank and.
Yep.
All new culverts,
Yeah, it was nice to ride down.
half
Yeah,
that pile of gravel and stuff here.
Yeah, wow. So thank you.
Yeah, thank Jack Shaw and Sons.
yeah, so we'll take a ride down Baker Road, check it out, yeah. All right, code enforcement officer, I think is still on vacation, so there's no report from him today. What's that?
He gets a vacation?
I don't think he likes to tell anybody. He's probably back in Alaska.
He works very hard. It's-
Yes, he does, yeah. Committee report, any committee updates?
So I've got a couple things on property committees.
Mhm.
Chris Mallier, went today and took some of the siding off of the south, wall of the old town hall. And we are just preparing to put in the second round of grant monies requests from Maine Preservation. So we really kind of needed to know what the extent is. We know the north wall. We suspected the west and the south. So he uncovered part of it today and we found that in fact, the sheathing looks good. We do know there's water damage at each of the windows where they come down through, but that's, I don't want to say minor, but it's fairly minor compared to the north wall, which is the
Relatively.
entire whole wall. So
Yeah.
that's a blessing. We've had people come in and do a study for us under the building. And we had quotes from 2 different companies for dehumidifying cleaning the mold that is down there. And then once the sills are replaced, perhaps actually sealing that off, so that will eliminate a couple different things. One is moisture that comes up, and two, it will be much easier to heat the building if we closed off the
Mhm.
basement. And it's current standards. This is not stuff that was ever thought of or available in the 1700s, 1800s, even 1900s, you know, but now it's sort of one of the standard ways of treating old buildings in particular. So that's a bonus. We've had the coastal water people come, and they were gonna dip test the old well that had been
Yes.
contaminated.
Yeah.
They don't have the results yet, because it was on Thursday.
The water at the town hall.
The water at the town hall, so. for
That's the
this-
deep well.
The second year in a row, on the day of the run, we ran out of water. And that's because we're working off a dug well, which is only 13 feet deep. And I think the deal with the race is, no offense to runners, but they all have to pee at the same time, which is
A lot.
in the 5 minutes before the race, right? That's in there, right? Like, you know that, so.
200 people.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what happened. It got overwhelmed. That was on a Sunday.
Mhm.
I went over on Monday and got water. And I got some sand in the water on Monday, which would tell me that yes, it all just like hit bottom. So for most of our events, the dug well has been adequate and it has been working, but then we have these big events where everybody has to pee at the same time. And it's a struggle. So one of the ideas is let's test that old contaminated well. We know, even the water testing people, like, you know, it's gonna be full of bacteria. Yeah, we know that. That's treatable. The oil, the petroleum infiltration is really what we're after. If in fact the water comes back and doesn't show signs of petroleum in it and not volatile chemicals, then we're gonna consider what to do next, because one option is to put a pump back down in that well, start running it, getting it, you know, really, you have to run them quite a while to get them cleaned up totally, but we could do that. That just in itself runs about 55 to 7,000 in terms of getting the old well cleaned up and pumped and get it into the building. While the woman from Coastal Waters was there, she suggested that one of the things that a lot of seasonal people are doing, seasonal building owners are doing, is putting up a cistern. And she was suggesting like a 1,500 gallon tank that would sit next to the building. And here's where we run into a little bit of like, historic building, how's that gonna look? But you feed it with gutters. Well, we've just put new gutters on the building, so we have gutters. You can feed it with gutters. And then also, if you're running low on water, we can have a fire engine go fill it up out of a tank. Not potable water, we're not drinking it, but it certainly would be enough then
For those
to
200 people.
feed the toilets for the 200 people that have to pee it.
You ever thought about doing some porta potties when you have a large number like that?
Yeah, so we've been discussing that too. So here's the thought, we rent the building for not very much money.
Right.
So if we have an event where you've got a lot of people, like a road race, who pays for the porta potties? Do we quadruple our rent for the day and we cover the porta potty costs? Or do we just say, look, our building is suitable for 25 to 50 people. If you're gonna have more than that, you have to provide porta potties. We don't have a decision yet, because it's all kind of a new conversation, but
Does anybody know anybody that has the porta potties that they may have an in with it, they'd like to donate it for that type of an event?
No.
don't know.
I mean, they like to put it off on their income taxes. They'd make a
Yeah.
contribution that way.
That's possible.
But I do wanna, I wanna say and give, Kim full credit, because, she went Friday, before the race and made sure everything was turned on, everything was right, everything was perfect. And then 200 people that had to pee just sort of messed things up, and all of a sudden there was no water. And of course, she was not there, but had gone through all this trouble to make sure everything was right. And I want to make sure that people know that Kim had gone out of her way to make sure that, you know, everything was set. But not knowing that there was gonna be no water, and this is the second year in a row that this has happened, so we did talk Wednesday already about. Maybe
Porta
next
potty.
year we do a porta potty, and do we have the people that are in charge of that race pay for that porta potty. That's one of the things that we need to talk about, but we've just started that conversation. But we have a couple other alternatives too. So we have a year to be thinking about that a little bit.
It's
The
been dry.
normal, what's
It's
that?
been dry last summer and this summer, so I've run the race since I've been up here, since 2018. And last year was the first year that, it had never happened, and the numbers, I didn't think were that as big this year, but it's also been very dry.
Yeah,
Last year and this year, so.
yeah,
it's like
extremely dry.
A lot of factors.
It's August,
Yeah,
yeah, and we haven't had rain and.
I don't think we recovered from last year's drought.
yeah,
And I know I've been really, really careful about using my well and and even if the well would be okay, it's not okay if it's being used
right.
by a bunch of people at one time. So we're aware of that and Kim is working.
He's talking about.
Winter's coming, I think all your problems may go away.
Snow.
Right,
Yeah, but
I got a bad net, my mother,
Oh,
and saying,
you think
You're saying
they're
we're
gonna
gonna have a bad
a
winter?
good snow year?
but that doesn't mean it's always gonna go back into we'll see. I hope you're right.
well, I hope I'm wrong, I'd rather see rain in the spring.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, if anybody has opinions about what your thoughts are about a cistern sitting outside next to the town building, I'd be interested.
Why couldn't you put it back by the bulkhead?
You can, it's still gonna be there though.
Well, yeah, but it's so backward,
Nobody can see it.
Another thought I had was, they were talking about above the ground, and I had kind of pictured it underground. Where maybe we wouldn't have to drain it if you keep it through the winter. They have not done systems like that before, Coastal Water has not, they do all of their cisterns above ground, feed it with gutters, so. But it's another possibility, yeah, that's
I may
true.
be off with the number, but doesn't the fire department have one down at the end of the
Yep.
Bradford Road there? That was installed some years ago, that's
Yep.
pretty sizable,
Yeah,
sizable system.
yeah, that is big. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Is it underground?
Yeah.
No,
Oh, it
No,
is.
it is.
underground.
It is
Yeah.
underground, but I think Stacy told me they drain it,
I'm
for
not
the
aware of
winter.
it. I'm not.
The tank,
the cistern,
maybe the sister,
okay,
I may be wrong on that too, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can check with Stacy, yeah, right.
yeah. We'll definitely continue to do some research on that.
Okay.
So next, two more things here. We hesitated saying this and then realized it was gonna be in the newspaper anyway. So, if you've kept up with some of the meetings, you know that, Mario DiPietro has, been unhappy about the abatement. And he has, now sent in an appeal to the county commissioners. And that meeting will be, September 1st at 11 o'clock. I believe it's a public meeting, but it'll clearly be in the paper. So we just wanted to give an update so that, if you read it in the paper, you're not saying, oh, we didn't know anything about it. You now have been notified and we have no idea what the results will be. We will be there. The board, the assessor will be there. And this is the first time we've had to deal with this, so we don't know what will happen with that. On a good note, we have a new person on the Conservation Commission, and actually I see on our Zoom here, I think we're gonna have a couple other people too who are interested in joining the Conservation Commission, but what I'd like to do is, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Sherry Nelson to the Conservation Commission. Do I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. All right, we have a limited number of people who can vote on that, although we rarely vote. But it's an unlimited number of people who can join that committee, and there's a lot going on, so anybody who's interested, I know my neighbor, Aaron's on here. I talked to Dave this afternoon, and he's gonna be showing up at the next meeting, which I believe is,
September 3rd.
okay,
It's a Thursday.
there you go. And actually, we meet, I think, every first Thursday of the month at 5:30. So anybody that is interested, we're doing a variety of things. I know one of the things that our chair is interested in is doing a trail It used to exist from north to south on the island. That's been something that I think the committee's been working on for many, many years. And so there's, we're like a subcommittee that's working on that. So
Also a series of lectures. So
a series of lectures, yep, a series of lectures, one per quarter. We're also looking, we were working on the water study. We're still trying to share some of that information. We're in charge of taking care of Clough Point. Or Clough Point, depending on how you say it, but that is actually, I think, is in statute that says that we have that responsibility.
Okay.
It's different from, it's not a kelp property. It's one of the few, might be the only one that has the park or whatever. But it is owned by the town and the responsibility does go to the Conservation Commission. Anyway, any announcements or anything else to share? Then I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn for the night. Do I have a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, I'm going to stop recording.
Bye-bye.
No.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna make.